Welcome back to the 7th Grade Mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking on the topic of makers versus fakers. I chose this topic because in a recent conversation with someone, the topic was brought up about how there's people out here who are making a living out of complete bullshit. People that are making a living with little to no effort. And I'm not speaking on this from the perspective of hate or envy.
They're right or wrong. It's not right or wrong. It just is.
Yeah, it's not a right or wrong. It just is. And when I see people that are successful and they work to get to where they are, I applaud that. But I'm also seeing a lot of people now who have reached these heights of accomplishment through being leeches or hangers on, or just they're like that little fish that swims alongside the shark. The shark is killing everything, and that little fish is just eating up all the chum that's left over for the shark.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Right.
Just there.
And so when you look at the things that people do to get to where they are, when you look at their behaviors, when you look at the patterns within their life, you start to see things that you have seen in other places. You see this a strong will. You see work ethic. You see a person that has a vision or a plan. And many people aspire to be like these others that are successful, and they want to reach like where they are. But let me stop right now in the middle of all this and just say, people who are out here and they claim that they are inspirational coaches, life coaches, and you haven't done a fucking thing, kill yourself. Okay? Go jump off a fucking bridge because you're worthless.
You remember when Snoop used to say the game is to be sold, not told?
Amen.
You got a lot of motherfuckers selling shit, and the shit is not even tangible. And ain't no guarantee it's going to make you better. They're giving you advice on advice. It's not even
Right.
tangible, and you fall for it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing Tony Robbins. I'm not dissing any preacher. We're not dissing nobody. It's just the fact that you're going to tell me some of this shit you couldn't figure out on your own. You know,
Okay. So
it's embarrassing.
right. But then you got to see a scam for what it is. Game, recognized game. And some of these preachers who are out here talking this prosperity theology, but they're not talking about works. They're not talking about the giving of yourself. And if you look at people who have a well-balanced but successful life, they grind hella hard, but they're humane in some way. They help other people. They help strangers. You have to give so that you can receive. It is the law of the universe. And through that, God's will is exercised. You have to give.
You know the ones that drive me crazy aren't so much the preachers, but okay, what about these politicians? Like people, the problem, we always talk about the Democrat Party, conservative, whatever, no matter. But what drives me crazy is when they say, I met such and such. And I'm like, oh, shit, you met Clinton. Is that good or bad? I mean, hell, no, man, I was in awe of him and her. I'm like, you're politicians. You know, what physically did they actually do?
You hired that person.
Yes, you hired them for a job. They did a pretty good job.
Why are you going to hire a person and then suck their dick?
No, it doesn't go.
It doesn't work like that.
To go that way.
They're supposed to suck your dick to get the job.
It does. It does work like that. That's the whole problem. The fact these are unremarkable people who have remarkable titles or in a remarkable position, which is a position any of us could have done. That's what makes president so special, that any of us could go for it. Now, all of a sudden, if you don't go to a special school, you can't go there. But honestly, some of these are very unremarkable people. That's why everybody made fun of Bush, number 2. Hell, Daddy Bush actually did more than Bush Jr., who didn't do shit. But the thing was, he ran a baseball team, ran it into the ground. He inherited this.
Yeah. But see, he suffered from affluenza. He was a fuck up. He was getting arrested at bars in Massachusetts, getting thrown out.
Cocaine.
Yeah, man, he was a complete fuck up. And I mean, he's the people I'm talking about in the very beginning of the show. those hangers on
Exactly.
who make a life.
You just said something funny. You said he suffered from affluenza. That's hilarious. Like the disease he has is just affluence, and he doesn't realize that he's unremarkable because he, no matter what he does, he'll fall, but he'll land on his feet, or he'll fall on a golden parachute. And you hear that kind of shit, and he doesn't even realize that he couldn't survive in a normal situation.
So dig this.
Like,
So dig this. In this time of perverse mediocrity, it is so easy to get on because the bar is so low. There is so much bullshit music out there that teenagers have turned away from because it's just lame, because it's not entertaining. It lacks technical skill.
the first person that comes to mind, of course, are the Kardashians, with Kim Kardashian. Now, we
Okay.
know she got on porno.
Perfect example.
She was doing hair. But the problem is they're successful without any talent. Now, the talent came from the mother, who was a whore. She was a hoe before it was even the style. She was hoeing. She was fucking football players. She was getting pregnant by anybody she could. She was married to a rich guy, but she was still fucking his friends.
Right.
That's not a kind of how does she get a TV show? So when I can't get mad at Kim for being
because some sleazebag producer saw what her ability was, people that she knew, the access.
She banged her way to the top. She fucked her way to
They
the top.
saw that she was the future.
But here's a problem with that. What kind of message? Damn, I don't want to sound like I believe the children of the future. But what I'm saying is, what kind of message is that? Like, so just fucking people have fought against sexual harassment for years. Women have fought sexual harassment, and all of a sudden, there's just the opposite. You use sexual harassment to get to where you was. You was a hairdresser, started fucking rich people, fucking black dudes, and just okay, fine,
Right?
It just fucked your way all the way to the top.
Okay,
and then you get a show. And
so check this out.
Unremarkable.
I was a camera operator on a TV show for Howard Stern years ago, and my interaction with the producers was very interesting because these guys, they were the thoughtiest hype chasers I've ever seen in my life. Like they would
professional dick suckers. Professional dick suckers.
But no. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Like they were creating fake news.
Yeah, that's not.
they were They had this fucking hype machine. They were just cranking the fuck out of it. Like they would create fake ass scenarios that out of thin air that were completely divorced from reality. So therefore, what I was seeing was the beginning of this enhanced artificiality of not just the false image that you have from Hollywood and television, but taking it into the public sector in the way with social media was starting to like get a foothold in reality and the way people saw the world. And so people would watch these reality TV shows that we shot and they would, take it for face value at this is exactly how it is. This is what happened. And like, no, that's not true at all. Nobody broke into their house while they were doing a show, while his girlfriend was standing on top of the bar dancing, and the bartender was spraying her T-shirt down with seltzer water, making her titties pop out. None of that was real. It's not real.
But it's hard to explain it to your kids, though. When you're telling your kids, like, baby girl, this is a reality show. There's still a show part. If it was reality, it'd just be called reality. But they had to put the show on the end, let you know it's a production.
Yep.
Show.
Yeah.
You said some deep. You just said some deep shit. This was the burgeoning of the beginning of this social media. I remember a long time ago that she was a newscaster down in Florida, and she was doing an article on dogfighting. And dogfighting is super illegal. Even back then, it was real illegal. And she could not find a dogfight. So she came up with this idea, well, fuck it, let me stage one. So they ended up putting her ass in jail for staging a dogfight. But the whole thing was, the idea that this is commonplace, and it wasn't commonplace. But now it's just the opposite, is reality imitating art instead of art imitating reality. You create these shows, you create these scenarios that are unrealistic, and now all of a sudden you got people doing it on purpose, looking for, and some of it is back in the day we didn't have cameras everywhere. Cameras are everywhere now, so you catch stuff that we wouldn't normally catch back then. But It's just the fact that so much of this shit is staged that we can't recognize reality when it happens.
Okay.
Or we can't even
All right.
appreciate a miracle when it happens.
Do you remember? You know what it was, man. I remember the feeling that I had when I started to interact with these television producers of these reality TV shows. It was the feeling that I was working on Girls Gone Wild meets bum fights. That's what it felt like. Those two brought together into that world, into the armpit.
See, when you said hype machine, I thought you were just saying that whoever the star was, they were like, "You're the greatest ever."
No, no,
no, it's just different. You're talking about they're just like fabricating
from
everything.
whole cloth, completely fabricated. They created scenarios just for the sake of entertainment. Yeah. So it was supposedly a documentary, but no, it was complete fiction. The only thing that was real were the humans in these stories
and the cameras.
Yeah,
the
man.
cameras.
It was weird. It was really real weird. But like, so another thing happened the other day. I'll just say I was a fly on the wall, and I heard this woman speaking, and she was telling the story. Okay, this woman was a star fucker, and she was telling her story about her rise and fall. And I just happened to be in the room listening to this conversation. I just sat there. I was doing some ear hustling, truth be told. I'm just listening to this shit. I didn't interact or nothing. I just sat there and I just let this person just, spill their stale beans on the floor. So she proceeds to go on and talk about how she came from Florida, went to Los Angeles, fucked Bobby Brown, fucked Corrupt, fuck the dude that played Kane in Minister Society. Fuck a bunch of motherfuckers. Just a bunch of went to Jamie Foxx's house, met all these people. She was messing with Casey from Joe.
She must be. She's older than us. Is she older than us? She gotta be older than us.
Yes, she's older than us.
Yeah.
And messed with Casey and from Jodeci and left his ass because he was violent and a drunk. And I'm like, oh, that sounds accurate. So she then proceeded to tell me about how, she was doing all this stuff and living this life. And I looked at her and she was in flip-flops. Now, this is Atlanta, but it's cold as shit right now for Atlanta. Like, it's 40 degrees in the daytime and 26 degrees at nighttime. It's not the time of the year for flip-flops. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, she has become a borderline bag lady. And I'm wondering, like, she was fucking around, and she said something about she tried to get pregnant while she was out there. And I'm like, she was looking for a meal ticket. So this star fucker was trying to parlay her looks into a complete lifestyle and a sense of security. So I'm like, oh,
that was her career. That was her career.
Oh man, she was putting up some stats. She was putting up some big stats, man. But
for sure.
But the thing is that like I could tell like most of what she was saying wasn't a lie because the way she was describing these events,
she was reliving it.
She was
recalling.
This was recall. This wasn't fabrication. Yeah. And I'm really good about discerning when people are lying and when a person is telling a story they at least mostly lived. Because when she was describing Los Angeles, and she was describing things in the Hollywood Hills, and she was describing things
in the 90s, you knew exactly what she was talking about. I
knew exactly what the fuck she was talking about. I'm like, I know all those spots you're talking about. I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. So she was talking about all this stuff, and like I'm just listening to this person talk about their rise and their fall, and how she's a star fucker or was a star fucker because now the bitch is too old, and she tried out for the whole NBA, and she had a good run, but she didn't have no retirement plan. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but the point my brother's making is that you got makers and you got fakers, but you got these fakers are people who made their life off other people's success.
Okay, stop. Hold your fire for a second. Let's go back to her situation. Let's do a VR augmented reality recreation of a situation. We'll just
Come on,
say
come on.
we're gonna go to a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, and everybody is snorting, drinking, and fucking. You know, because these motherfuckers probably nobody smokes weed. They're all cocaine heads, coke heads and shit. So they're all snorting and fucking and drinking at this house in the Hollywood Hills. And this house belongs to one celebrity, and that is the Rainmaker. And that celebrity has handlers, which is the agents and the manager, and this person has an entourage. And the entourage is this motherfucker's homeboys who, you know, can't rub two fucking pennies together. Don't own nothing more than don't even own a pair of pliers. Okay.
Roadies, they straight up roadies. They move boxes and shit. I know.
Yep.
I know
So
the type.
in this house are those guys and starfuckers. And the starfuckers got friends and they bring them and they're like in the celebrity has his handlers called these starfuckers to bring friends and more friends so they can have a party. And so all this Me Too shit is going on and you know, pussies are getting grabbed and lines are getting snorted and all this shit. This is the scenario I'm talking about. In that house is one person that created that environment, and then it was people.
Universe.
Yeah, he's the Thanos. He snaps his fingers and motherfuckers appear and they're gone. He's got the glove. He's got the gauntlet. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet. And then you have all of Thanos' underlings, and then all the bitches that like fuck Thanos' underlings. Okay,
to get to Thanos.
Right, they want that Thanos dick. But the maker is Thanos, the celebrity. And all the fakers is everybody that's not him, that's not earning a check by performing a duty that's useful.
By doing
and being useful.
But I think the scariest part about that is if Thanos falls off, hopefully he's realistic and had a plan.
Oh,
but doesn't.
But everybody gonna try and grab that gauntlet though. Be like, listen, I know he's not your guy anymore, but look at me. I got headshots. You know, I've been working out. Just put in a good name with this director, this producer, or the casting director, and just let them know, hey, you got a guy, you know, a faker, trying to like fake it until he makes it and he shoehorn his way into there. But you see that with all types of people in the music industry and in the film industry. You see the really talented people, and then you see the people that have faked it, that can't cry on cue. But
even the problem with that is these fakers are in this day and age, they're super successful. And the funny thing about what you're saying is how many when you travel, how many times have you met one of these older strippers who are 40 and 50 and brag about, oh, I used to be in Vegas, I made $100,000 in a week. I did this, but you need that shit now.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
You see it all the time. Yeah, go on. Or I went to college. I went to a black school, Langston University, shout out. And there were several girls from LA that what you're talking about, I hate this comedian, so I don't want to say his name because I don't want to, but he's one of these comedians with letters for a first name. And this is when he at first got big, was crescendoing big on BET a lot, had a star spot on a show on BET.
Don't say nothing else. Don't say. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you do. And so, but this is the funny. But she was telling us shit about that he was going to be on the show before he was even on there. She was breaking down like, oh yeah, who he's been married, just tell him everything. And I'm like, you again, your bullshit meter is going off, but all of a sudden your bullshit meter goes all the way down to the left, where it's like that's not bullshit. She's describing his grandmother's house. And then there was a bunch of girls like that had sex with famous people. Or the thing that messed me up was the girl I was dating back in college. She was telling me stuff because she said, my sister fucked everybody. So she's telling me like, before anybody knew about the Halle Berry, Wesley Snipes thing, she told me back in this is 96, 97, Wesley was the one that slapped Halle Berry, messed her ear up. That's how long ago. So you're hearing stuff like that. But then then also when you start hanging around like these gangsters, these G's, you find out just what you said, who were really doing shit, not just gangster stuff, but who was selling drugs. You realize a lot of these hangers on, they were running the party not because it was their house, it's because they were supplying everybody. Or you found out that there was a cousin of, so you had you had to be real just to be around back then. And people that weren't real, they got stepped on. Now you got people making careers out of not being real, and there's so many fake people around that the real person feels weird. The real person feels out of place. But when me and you came up, we loved hearing stories about perseverance, people surviving fucked up shit, making
craziest odds. Those are the people that I respect.
Yeah.
Now,
he was like, "Oh my God,
bring it on back around now. Bring it on back around."
Now motherfuckers, people admire the thoughts now. You have successful thoughts that are making money, and like, what the hell? And then you got people like Game pointing people out. You just a waste of time. And he has a whole song about it. You wouldn't get far. And what he's saying is, back in the day, you wouldn't have got far. You wouldn't have made it where you are. But now these motherfuckers is fucking to the top. They got whole careers on whose dick they suck.
But listen,
Monica Lewinsky.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But and then Nate Dogg had that song. Is like every other video, every place we go, we
see the same hoes.
Right. So this is the question: if you were one of these rainmakers, why would you fuck these hoes? Why would you fuck with these people, knowing that they fuck this person, it's still going on now. This one chick moves to this person and that person and the next, and I'm like, dude, why don't you fuck a regular human? Why are you fucking vampires?
You're saying some deep shit. Hold it, Roscoe. You're saying some deep shit. What you're really saying, back in the day, that man, unfortunately, is misogynistic. That man would just be fucking women. But nowadays, he wants to fuck somebody his homeboy fucked because he wants that energy. He wants that celebrity. This happened to me in my personal life. I'm dating this chick, and I'm like, I saw one of my homeboys hug her too long, and he used to date her back in the day, but he wouldn't tell me, and she didn't tell me. I find out later on they dated, and I'm like, so I go off on her. I'm like, we was breaking up anyway. I said, look, why would you let that nigga that didn't graduate high school, has never been successful, but because you slept with him, even though you slept with him before me, he feels like we're equals. You let that man be equal to me. So yeah, I know. You gotta understand. So my accomplishments don't matter. I own 2 houses, don't matter. I own 6 cars. None of that matters. But because we slept with the same girl, some kind of way he's on my level, he's not. But what you got these insecure rappers. You got these weak ass celebrities now who are looking for is a justification, I guess you could say.
Stop. Put it in reverse. We got to back this shit up. And you know how you back up and like one of them fucking Hondas make they sound like. Okay. Listen, man. You said something right there. You got all that shit, and this nigga fucking.
No validation.
Nothing.
You need it.
No credentials. No gravitas.
Your accomplishment should be enough, but it's not because you are so hollow inside.
Here is the thing. That is where the primal man makes his interest.
Should kick in. It should kick in.
That's where the primal man has to show up, because the primal
That's
man.
Where you start counting. Yep.
The primal man will remind her who is the one that can make the rain stop, who will keep the snow off of your head and shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta make that known. You see, this is a thing that you have to work at actively. And what I'm saying does go into the topic of makers and fakers, because in primal times, you had strong men, and then you had these beta men that while the guys were off hunting, they would keep the women company because they weren't strong enough to go off and hunt. And so he was the opportunist that was trying to rape that woman or get a quick feel on her when her man was out, holding it down, making shit happen with his hands. So that is that energy
here's
still
for
around.
The women who don't understand this, the women might not.
Yeah, no, they get it. They get it. No. They get it.
Hold on. Let me break it down for you. If a man has to talk bad about another man to get some pussy or to get some attention, that's not a whole man.
But
if a man
that's
talks
what
good about
that's what you
himself,
call back in the day a shade tree, nigga.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking. He was that pity pussy. What did they call that shit? I can't think of it. Oh, there was a perfect term for it back in the day. But the bottom line is, he should be talking good about himself. He should be telling me what he can do, not what the other guy can't.
Right. He's
You don't
already
see.
intimidated. He's already intimidated.
Look, oh, the term we used to use back in the day is called babysitting the pussy. Here's what it means to babysit the pussy. You have a boyfriend, you have a man, but you got a nigga that liked you. The nigga that liked you has been in your life before your man. But the reason you picked your man because he's more of a man than this nigga right here. So this nigga now he's gonna play the role where he's babysitting the pussy. He's gonna be your friend. So he's gonna do two or three things, women. So watch out for this. So you're gonna know who this nigga is in your life. One, he's gonna one day fake. He's gonna be drunk and try to make a pass at you or feel on you. Now you seen the nigga only had 2 drinks. He's not drunk, but the alcohol gave him an excuse to act on some shit that he didn't have the balls to act on. You done shut him down 3 or 4 times, so that's who his nigga is. Second, he's gonna wait for you to have a problem with your man and try to console you. Now that's why it means, babysitting the pussy. He can never compete with your man, but if your man fucks up, doesn't get you the right gift, forgets your birthday, maybe even cheats on you. I ain't saying he did, but there's a questionable situation where he spent too much time with somebody. That's that nigga's chance to swoop in. Now, guess what? The nigga's dick is weak. That's why he's in that position in the first place. Like I said, he will create fucking situations and tension between you and your man just so he can swoop in. He's a scavenger. He's not a hunter. He's a vulture. He's not a lion. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to watch out for. He's a fucking jackal. But that's the shit that's what's gotten him pussy in the past. So he'll continue to do it. And guess what? He still got a bitch at home. He still got a wife and kids at home, but he's still sniffing around your door.
Ain't that a bitch? The Piccolo player is a motherfucker.
I don't babysit pussy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit. I'm gonna pull your hair and make you know what's up. That's all I'm saying.
So, staying with our theme of makers and fakers, if you feel that you are not living your best life, and by doing so, you are not accomplishing the goals that you have set for yourself, that you have let those quietly recede into the back like a hairline, you've let your fight peter away like water going down a drain. You have let all these things go away, but yet you're faced with your mortality and the fact that you know that your life will end when you got people wearing face diapers and a death rate that may or may not be real or is probably artificially hyped, like a Dow Jones ticker on the news every day at the bottom of the screen. And you're sitting in your house and you're locked in there and you got all this time. You've watched all the movies that you've ever wanted to watch and listened to all the music, and you fucked your woman as many times as you can. And now your creative juices are still flowing. You got to ask yourself, how can I do it? Here's how. You have to set a goal. And underneath that goal, you have to have smaller steps that lead to that goal. You have to allow yourself time to accomplish this goal, but not too much time, because procrastination is a cancer that will grow inside of you and overcome you and pull you down into the bowels of hell, where you must face yourself in a cavern for infinity, and you don't want that. So therefore, you must take action. And there are ways you can do this. There are simple things that you can do to take action and alter your reality, because you first have to have willpower, the desire. You must have to have desire to get off your ass and go and write down something or begin doing something that allows you to use your creativity. I'm calling on creativity because it is one of the most powerful forces in all of creation, second to love.
It's the closest thing to God, where you can create something. You make something from nothing.
Right.
It's a powerful thing.
Right. And so using that creativity, you create. So ask yourself, what percentage of the money that I make or the belongings that I have is used toward creating something? Do I have anything laying around that I can use to make things with? That I can make things, that I can draw something, I can paint something, I can build something with my hands. I could find a way to create and pour this energy into something that I can use to make commerce, that I can trade in commerce and make money with it. So it begins with a vision. See this vision, have this vision in your mind's eye. and then quickly go and write it down. Stop what you're doing and go and write it down, because it's like water going down the stream over a rock. It will pass through you and it'll be gone forever. Go and write it down. Write it
It's
down.
important. What he's telling you is very important, because a lot of people, the reason they don't do these things is because they're more afraid of success than they are of failure. They're used to failure. So when you fail, nothing changes. But when you're successful, that means you actually got to think and do another move and do another move and do another move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what he's telling you is you're making something out of nothing. That's as close to the divine as you can be. And look, I help a lot of people. And some people can't figure out why I help. I'm like, look, it's simple. If you're fucking the woman you want to fuck, you're making the money you want to make, I mean, if you're sleeping with whoever you want to sleep with, then you're not trying to stop me. You're not trying to impede me, because you've reached some level of success, some modicum of success, and that should be all of our goal. But the thing is, a lot of us are sleeping with the person we don't want to sleep with. You know how people buy a car they really didn't mean to buy, and they make a, man, I'm making payments on this motherfucker, but it was only one available. That's how these bitches be.
Because
That's how these niggas be.
you bought into an image. You bought into an image that you perceive to be one of success, or one that is a pathway leading towards a greater life. And at some point,
when you missed, hold up, you missed one. What if you've never been successful before? So even a little bit of success, because like you said earlier, we lower the bar so low right now. So what if you never had success, or you never deemed yourself as successful? I'm not saying you ain't. So the one time somebody winks at you, somebody laughs at you. That's why a lot of these niggas cheat, because they were lame niggas. They get a bad chick. And we talked about before, she's dressing them, making them look good. And then when they go to work, the first one to wink at them, they fall for it. We talked about it last time. So you got to understand that if you ain't used to success, you might not know what success looks like. And then you'll like, oh, I'm complacent, or I'm someplace I really don't want to be. Then you cheat on a good woman, or cheat on a woman that you really didn't want to lose. So, or you cheat on a nigga you didn't want to lose to, and that's the kind of shit. So that's what the problem with this whole faker shit. See, a maker knows their goals, knows what's real, right? What's tangible, what's in front of them. They know this is what I want, or it's not what I want. A faker, they're going to imitate what they think somebody successful would do. They copying another motherfucker all the way down that motherfucking line, my nigga.
Slow down. So
sorry.
Once you see what it is you want, see yourself working towards making that real. See yourself walking into that reality, that existence. And then get used to being uncomfortable. Because the more you get used to being uncomfortable, the more you can get done. And that takes me to my next point, the doing. Life is in the doing. When you are making it, when you are on the set and you're making your little short film, you're shooting your music video, or you're recording the music you want to record, or you're in the wood shop and you're making the furniture you want to make, or you got a car that you bought a husk from a junkyard or an auction, and you taking that car and you bringing it back into one solid piece of machinery again. These are goals that you're working on, but you have to do it. Get uncomfortable and get used to being uncomfortable, because when you're uncomfortable, you're tense, but you're focused. And you know that you have to keep moving forward to get towards something. And it's okay to be comfortable doing that at some point. But a lot of that journey is going to be uncomfortable, because you're not going to have all the money you need to start these things or to do these things. And sometimes you got to borrow to get this money, or sometimes you got to work extra long hours and losing sleep to get the money you need to do what you need to do. And sometimes you got to string 2 and 3 credit cards together to pay for something that is a piece of equipment that you need to do what you want. Get used to being uncomfortable, pushing yourself to get closer to what you need to be, or where you need to be, and getting what you need. Now, I'm going to speak directly to the filmmakers and musicians. Do not get caught up in gear lust. Gear lust is a bottomless pit. You will find yourself.
What he's saying is you need this one thing to complete your task. You get wrapped up in that, and then you don't complete the movie. You don't complete the production, all because you don't have one piece of equipment.
Yeah. Now, see, here's the thing, though. Find a way to do it with the next best thing. because this is what's going to happen. Time is going to go by, and you'll never make that piece of art because you're so focused on getting the right set of paint and the right paint brushes just to paint a picture. Go paint the fucking picture. I mean, you can use toothpaste and dyes and shoe polish and seasonings from your cabinet and Jello and Kool-Aid. Just paint it. Just paint it and get it out of your system. You have to do it. Don't get caught up in trying to have, I got to have this beat machine. I got to have this Macintosh computer. I got to have this. I got to have that. Make it with what you have. Look around you and see what can I make with what I have. Now, yeah, of course, you're going to have to buy additional stuff. You're going to have to buy a camera. You're going to have to buy a sound mixer. You got to buy microphones. You got to buy film stock. You got to buy this. You got to buy that. Get what you need to make what you have to make. All right? And just start making it and keep
Roscoe,
making it.
Then the reason people don't get what you're saying, the reason people don't believe in God,
get it.
No, hold on. Yeah, no. The reason people have a problem like believing in God and understanding a higher power is because a higher power is a creator. Elohim created you. So one of the things that's going to put you in contact with the creator is creation, is creating something. Creating is divine. Making something out of nothing, comprising things and putting them together to make something that's greater than the sum of its parts. The whole is bigger or greater. You know, making a movie ain't that hard to make. You understand? Writing the script ain't that hard. But when the finished product hits somebody, it inspires them or makes them think. See, that's divine. That's what happened because you created something. You put something together. You built something. Like you said, building cars. Or you said whether you're building a house. You're creating. So when you create, it's going to put you closer to the divine. And that's what people don't understand. And so that's why it's so hard because you don't recognize that you just did something that was amazing or extraordinary because everybody around me is doing it. No, it's not. And I'm not saying that you need to toot your own horn. I'm saying that you need to recognize that you brought something into this world that did not exist the day before. That's dope. That's amazing.
Overthinking your process will cripple you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not overthink it. You will cripple yourself. We are our worst critics. But if you get so far in your head that you can't translate the vibe anymore, you're killing the muse. You are flushing that chi life force out of your body, out of your vessel. And that is what's powering you up. That's what's getting you going. It's that creative spark. You have to keep that. Don't get too caught up in the process. If you get too
something you forgot about. Like I'm from Omaha. I live in Omaha, where you got a bunch of rappers, and some of these rappers are garbage. Some of y'all need to be realistic about what you're good at and what you're not good at. If you suck at rap, you might work hard and get better at it. You know, you might have to work on your craft. But some of y'all working on your craft and you ain't coming to fruition. You need to recognize that and stick to your day job. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. So, but you know what? Here's the thing, though. Let those people make their shitty little music because at some point it's gonna get better. Maybe
it might come in style. It might come in style.
It might come in style,
because,
but
because if you had told me back in '96 that mumble rap would be a thing, I'd have said, "Man, you full of shit."
No,
man, nigga,
you're from the future. Shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
No, what kind of bullshit ass future you from? Hold on. Wait. You telling me black men are walking around? You tell me black men are walking around with their booty sticking out of their pants? And they got tight ass jeans.
It's not Prince. We're not talking about Prince.
They can't run. They can't run anywhere. They can't commit crimes in these clothes. Wait a minute. What? You telling me that motherfuckers are drinking cough syrup? Oh man, you're not from the future, dog. Get the fuck out of here with that stupid ass shit, man.
If you had told
dumb ass future is that?
I beat your ass. Get the fuck out of here, man. Look at sipping on scissor. It's a song. It was a hot song.
This is the thing, man. Just make it. Just create what it is you seek to create. But here's another thing. Do not seek approval. Seeking approval will tie you up also. You'll be hamstrung worried about if people will accept you. Listen, man, we exist in a time where there are so many lanes. We exist in a virtual reality of unlimited lanes. There are so many lanes for everybody now. There's so many participation awards for everybody in all of these fucking soapbox derby lanes. Okay, with the little bullshit ass soapbox car. Everybody got their own lane and they're gonna get a fucking award for it. Because there is a crowd for everything. Everything. Everybody, listen, because people are consuming so much media online, that hunger has to be satiated. So at some point, that audience comes to you. So I encourage you to continue to create and don't worry about what people think. What I do say is that you become technically proficient in your chosen craft because for you to rise and truly rise, you must be good at what you do. For you to be good at what you do and you continue with perseverance, you will shine. You've seen it all the time. You've seen comedians eat shit on the road for a long time. And then that person blows up and everybody's like, oh man, he's an overnight success. Yeah, a 15-year overnight success. I saw this guy on stage, back in the day when he was on a TV show.
Yep.
And now this dude has like a Netflix special and like they shot it in a stadium. You know what I mean? Like, people talk shit about Kevin Hart, but that guy has one hell of a work ethic, man. That dude works his ass off. You may not think he's funny. That's cool. That's cool. But that guy works his ass off. I remember the first time I saw that cat, I thought to myself, he's pretty damn funny, man. I'm pretty sure he's going to be around for a while. 10, 12 years later, he's still here. He's still here at the top of his game, man. You know what I mean? And, his life is crazy. He's a celebrity, whatever, man. But that guy worked his ass off to get where he is. And I respect that, man. Dave Chappelle is another comedian. Dude, this motherfucker was doing Robin Hood Men in Tights. Half Baked. Funny ass movie. You know what I mean? He did a bunch of TV show pilots that never went anywhere. This guy worked his ass off, and now he's saying, fuck you to Comedy Central. You're not going to put my show on Netflix. We're going to take that shit off. You're not going to put my show up there with my name on it, and I don't get a dime of that. Fuck that. That's hard work, man. He worked his ass off to make that show. And it's probably the greatest sketch show of all time, up there with In Living Color. So, hard work, man. It pays off. Floyd Mayweather. You see him in the gym working out, hitting the heavy bag, hitting the speed bag. You see him doing road work, running. And he's always playing this song, Hard Work. That's the only thing. My kung fu teacher, Chinese man, he would always say, he says, talking doesn't cook the rice. He would also say there's no time like flight time. And by that he meant, you can talk about getting in a fucking airplane, but when you get in a fucking airplane for real, and you flying over the mountains, and you flying over the Caribbean blue waters, and you flying into Tokyo, and you flying into Paris, and you flying into California, you have to be there to experience it. There's nothing like doing. Life is in the doing. We talked earlier about fakers. Those people out there faking it, they have to live with themselves. When they are beginning to say a lie, they metaphorically shit their pants a little bit. They throw up in their mouth a little bit before they speak that word, because they know it's a fabrication. That they know that lie is not the first one they told. That day, that month, that week, that person is just stringing them together like beads on a string to try and make this necklace that he can put around a person of opportunity, strangle them out, and take their place. They're a thief in the night. That's what these people are. But so long as you work hard, stay creative. See, here's the thing: hard work is not enough. That's another thing we got to talk about. Hard work is not enough. You got to have hustle. See, hustling and hard work are cousins, but they're not the same.
The same. Nope. That's not the same. Like when you hustle, like you might have a bunch of different things you're working on, but all you know is that success is out there and you know what direction to go in. Also, success is a moving target, and you've heard me say it before. So what worked in the past ain't gonna work this time. So you're gonna recognize, okay, there's a change in the market. The economy changed, something changed, and you got to recognize that and go in a different direction.
That discernment you're talking about right there, though, like you learn how to read the tides. You can feel when the ocean tide is shifting, and you can feel like when the market is shifting. People ain't gonna buy that no more. They don't want that no more.
Not right now. Not right now. It's not a good time.
Yeah,
sit on it.
This is 2020. Like I can't get out there and sell don't stop rims. Motherfuckers ain't gonna buy that shit. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a sense of, you have to know how to read the room. There you go. Get good at reading the room, reading the crowd.
By knowing your audience, you know what to say, what's appropriate. You can pull stuff out of them that they didn't even know was there. You can actually have control of that room, and that's an intoxicating feeling.
Okay, so you're taking them on a trip, and you're taking them on a trip based off of their willingness to participate. They're there, so they already want to participate. So all you got to do is make it entertaining, deep and insightful and fun.
Make it worth their while.
Make it worth their while, that too. But it's a gumbo of all these things that makes for a great experience. So again, learning how to read your audience and like read the room. But this applies to so many things and not just entertainment. Because say for example, you want to sell cars. If you want to sell cars, you got to know where you can get those cars, at a good price. You got to know how you're going to make money off of them. You got to know where you're going to sell them and, what people really want. Because if you got 12 Lamborghinis and you're trying to sell these motherfuckers to poor people, all you got are people coming to you with their hat in their hand to my, I just wanted a Lamborghini my whole life. And I'm like, yeah, great. Keep dream on, motherfucker.
I want to make payments.
Yeah.
Can I make payments?
But see, that goes against your business plan. Because your business plan is to make guap. Okay? And you're not going to do that with that business model. So therefore, you have to learn how to sell where your shit will be sold. That's it. That's simple. But again, like I was saying, that hustle, that muscle memory. See, hustle is definitely related to muscle memory because you are relying on that quiet Congress that you interact with.
That previous work, that previous work you did.
Exactly.
Those repetitions you did over the years.
It informs your future actions. Then it's like, all right, that won't work, but this will work. And then if you're selling something to somebody, you got to know how to read that person, read the room, read your audience, and see, like, does this person listening to me, or does it sound like I'm reading a script? You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm reading a script, it's time for me to go off that shit and just freestyle this shit. I'm gonna straight freestyle this, make a connection, and make a sale. Because you're connecting with that person. You connect with that person, and you get them to be like, you know what, man, I'll fuck with you. I'll fuck with you, man. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, give me a case. I'll take a case of them. Bam.
You done. I didn't even know they didn't even know they needed this.
They didn't even know they needed it. But you know what? Without it sounding greasy, you convince them that they actually need it and they can make use of it. And if that person is smart enough, of course they can make use of it. But that goes to your hustle. Convince them that they can make use of it. That's the hustle.
You explain to them the logic of the situation. Like, you know what? If you had this, you'd be able to do this. Now, you and mine both know that motherfucker wasn't doing that before, but it don't make a difference when you,
But you
because you
inspired
serve a
that
dream.
motherfucker though.
Yes, yes, you're opening up the horizon that they at some point in time had thought about, but didn't think they could achieve.
That's right. You actually give them a vision, and then all you're doing is just pouring. You're starting a fire and just pouring a little kerosene on there. Then you hand him the gasoline jug and like, here, man, pour that bitch on there. Look at that shit. Look how that fire rises. Ain't that shit fun? Yeah, have fun with that. I'll be over here.
Yeah, go ahead, and run naked. Go ahead. Let me see what you got. Deuces. I'm
Yep,
out.
yep, yep, yep. But now let's come to the last part. Who we did not leave out, or who we did leave out so far. We talked about the makers. We talked about the fakers. Let's talk about the takers, the usurpers,
Mm,
the people that you have to protect yourself from, figuratively and
literally.
literally. They're the people
Yeah.
that the reason why you have that pistol on your hip or that shotgun in your truck.
They've been watching you for a while.
Hmm.
They get your movements down because they don't even know for sure that you got something they want, but they know that you work hard. So somebody who works as hard as you, they probably have something of value, and they're willing to take it.
So look,
And that's something that.
I know what it's like to have some shit taken before. Years
Mm,
ago, I had an apartment, I had a townhouse, and I went to go Christmas shopping. And I went Christmas shopping, and when I left the house, I had turntables, music crates of music, crates of records and shit, and music equipment. And I left, and I came back, and my shit had been broken into. I was so angry,
you you left out the
furious.
most important part. Nope, there were no broken windows. The door wasn't kicked in. They actually cut a hole through the closet and came through your closet. I
There,
remember when this shit happened.
hold
Yeah,
on, hold on. There was an empty. Um, I lived in the second townhouse from the end, and there was an empty one on the end. These motherfuckers broke into these were expert criminals. They broke into the empty townhouse, went upstairs, busted through the drywall, and came into my place downstairs, took my shit out the back door, locked the front door. So when I come home, I put my key in there, and the chain is
everything
on.
normal.
I'm like,
Everything
whoa,
normal.
wait a minute. No, that's not fucking normal. For my fucking door to be locked from the inside and I'm on the outside, what the fuck? So I go around and I go inside. These motherfuckers had took the sugar and poured that shit upside down on the fucking counter, looking for diamonds, looking for jewels. The motherfuckers was looking for jewels, bruh. Jewels.
Look, I got a homeboy, and I told you this off the air. So, a good friend of mine, they go out of town, they go visit his mother in Kansas City. They get back, everything is gone. And when I say everything, literally everything was gone. So they got a moving van and pulled up. They go inside the house and they actually taped newspaper over the window so nobody could see what they were doing in there. And so he gets back in town. His neighbor said, "We thought you moved." He said, "What are you talking about?" I just got back from Kansas City. He said, "No, we thought you moved. We saw a moving van." He said, "No, you didn't." He goes in his house. When I say everything is gone, they took the kids' clothes. He didn't even have toilet paper. I'm talking to my boy. I said, "Man, look, here's $100. Go buy some toilet paper, son." He said they took the toilet paper. He had a freezer full of food. They took the freezer because they knew. Come to find out, it was a family member that robbed him. Messed up story, but it was jealousy. And look, I've been robbed too. I had somebody.
But that was
I went to
vindication.
Memphis.
That person stole their food. So
That was personal. That
yeah,
had
it was
nothing to
personal.
do
They were
with.
doing that to
That
punish
was
you.
not about money. I mean, they made money on the deal, I'm sure, but that was not somebody that was. They felt you had too much, and when it came out, it was a family. Like I said, it was. I don't want to tell the story, but it was an in-law, and coming to find out, this person had always been jealous of them and had always felt like, man, how come they have this? How come they? It doesn't matter. Both husband and wife both work. Kids in school, two good kids. It didn't matter how much they went to church. None of that stuff mattered. All they felt was, you have this and I don't. It's not right that you have it. That person did not work as hard as them. So a taker. will work hard to steal. A taker will work hard to be lazy. They will create a situation where they can benefit, but by destroying your hard work. And like I said, I've been there. I had somebody steal a gun from me. I had 3 guns stolen from me my whole life. They kicked in my door, and when I get back in town, so my mom's in the car. I pull up. I said, "Mom, let me go put the dog inside real quick." And I go inside, and my door is like off the hinges. So I grab my dog. I got a 100-pound American bulldog. I let her in the house. I said, "Please, I'm praying. This is the worst prayer ever." I get my gun out my truck, and I'm like, "Father in heaven, please let this nigga be in here. Whoever robbed me, please allow them to be here, because I will send them to see you immediately." Man, I'm in the basement. I'm up. I go to my room. I hear my dog run around. So I run upstairs. There was nobody there. But I was like, "Please, Lord, let the motherfucker that robbed me be here. Because if they're here, I will kill them in so many different ways." I got so many guns and swords in this motherfucker. So I know who had something to do with it, because when I was out of town, they called me 15 times. Since I've been back, this is over 20 years ago, I've never got another phone call from this person. I know who had something to do with it. I don't know exact details, but when a motherfucker call you that many times, but they never call you again in your life, that's admission of guilt. They're telling you like, "Hey, shit, duct tape gonna kill me if you ever talk to me, so I ain't gonna fuck with that nigga." So there are takers in this world. There are people who have no real talent. And the thing is, we're talking about fakers who just pretend like, and then you got makers who actually create, but then you got takers who just like, fuck it. I see something I want, fuck my hard work, I'll take it. I'll figure out how to take it. I'll figure out how to trip somebody.
But see, here's the thing. Just like the fakers, they're parasites. But
completely.
These are parasites. What they are, these are parasites that are the polar opposites of the makers. They destroy. They take away things because they lack the creative spark. They lack the insight. All they want to do is go and take things for themselves. So therefore, you have to bring warfare on these people. Warfare of many different types.
Make them regret it. Make them regret they're even thinking about doing this.
And there's so many ways to commit warfare on these people. You can do it physically, psychologically. You can do it spiritually. There's so many ways to attack these people. But it is imperative that you bring warfare on these people because they must understand there is a reckoning because they have crossed the line. And as a man, they must now understand that there is retribution for crossing that line. Because once you cross that line, you have forfeited your civility and your rights to reason. Your rights to my reason. So therefore,
no more negotiating. There's no negotiation at this
negotiation.
point.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, that's why war happens. Because you realize that you have to be stopped. I'm going to stop you because you're going to keep doing this. And you're going to take somebody's shit and that person is going to catch you in the act and they're going to put a bullet in your head. And you're going to fucking die a pointless death because you didn't have to. Because you chose to be lazy and not create. You wanted to take and go the lazy, easy route because you felt that the world is your oyster and you're going to do some shucking. All right. Okay. Dig that bullet out your fucking head. Dig that oyster out.
Look, here's the whole thing. I stop ignoring the divine in you. What it is that you can create and you ignore the divine because you're afraid of what? The success? You're afraid of what? Getting closer to God? When they say God's in each one of us, it's the divine. It's your ability to create. It's your connection to the creator. So when you make something that didn't exist before, you're going to see the face of God and you might be scared of it. So don't be afraid of success. Cut that shit out. You want somebody else's success? Then you need to create your own success. Make yourself successful. That's about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
I got a bit to say. And I'll start by saying, if you don't feel successful, look at your life. Look all around your situation, your reality. and figure out what it is that needs to go. Figure out what it is you have to change. Figure out what it is that you have to apply your willpower to bring about the results that will shift that reality from what it is now, being dog shit, into diamonds. You see, making dog shit from diamonds is easy. You got to put on gloves and you got to squeeze real fucking hard. But here's the thing though, it takes willpower and it takes effort. Take the steps, do the work, put yourself in a place where you will begin to bear fruit from that vision. You will, but you must keep repeating it. You know, you hear this term about 1,000 hours, and that scares the shit out of people. Man, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to spend 1,000 hours doing a kick or throwing.
That sounds
a punch.
like work. Yeah, that's
sounds
work.
Like
what
work.
the hell?
Well, guess what? That's life. You got to work at it. And man, listen. By the time you put in 1,000 hours, you've been doing it for so fucking long that you are an expert at this, and you're probably starting to make money or are making money at this thing. But you have to put in the work. And you also have to be creative. And you also have to have some hustle about you. Really have some hustle about you. You have to learn how to think laterally, how to see the whole playing field, and stop looking just at what's in front of you and look at what is beyond you. Look at the horizon. I'm going to say this to you. Try this experiment when you're driving around, when you're walking around, when you're around your everyday. We're always looking at phones now in 2020. Our vision is limited from 3 feet in front of us to maybe 5 feet in front of us to 10 feet in front of us when we're driving. But focus on the horizon. Look at the horizon. Look at the attributes and the landscape and pay attention to that. Pay attention to what is in the distance, because there is the future. The future is right there in the distance and it's coming at you. Can you see it? Because you have to learn how to shift your eyes from what's in front of you to what is in the deep, deep background. And that shifting your awareness, if you keep doing this throughout your day, you're developing a muscle. You're developing a muscle that allows you to shift your thinking from I got to eat, I got to fuck, I got to go to work, I got to cash my check, to I'm going to go to this place on the other side of the earth I've never been before. Or I am going to record an album and have it done before the year's out. Or I wrote a script 2 years ago. I am now going to flesh that out and make that a motion picture film. Or I need a new roof on my house. I got to figure out how to get that money. I got to figure out how to make that real. And that shifting your field of view, your depth of focus from what's in front of you to the deep background is an exercise you need to do every day that's going to become habitual. And you're going to do it so much that you'll find your thoughts shifting from minute things to grandiose big plans. And you find yourself doing this much more easier than normal. Okay? Do this thing. And it will help you to shift your paradigm, your worldview. Because we are in the future now, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a sci-fi movie. We're in every action movie you've ever seen as a kid. We're living it now. So you can warp your reality into what you want to do, but you must use your willpower, your imagination, and your hustle and determination. And you will make it real. That's all I got. We out. Peace.
Holla back.